We're going to do is take a look at some tobacco companies. That's the theme for the beginning of this video this week. And we've already been posting quite a bit on Philip Morris and MO. So those are the two names that both have the highest market cap and also look pretty promising for a possible bottom forming here. Philip Morris especially has a very clean ABC pullback off of the high that we hit in March into just shy of a 618 retrace at the recent June low, with price now showing the initial signs of a near-term trend change, making some higher highs and higher lows in this bounce since that recent bottom. Now we do only have a micro 3 waves up so far, so we do ideally want to see this fill out into 5 waves. Most likely as a leading diagonal here, where this would be a 1-2. We can see a 3 top soon, pull back in a 4th, and then give us that 5 up as the LD completing. Then that would be ideally wave 1 of C, with the alternative that the C wave itself unfolds as an ending diagonal, and we get just basically 3 wave structures overall to fill up into this kind of 100 to 105 target region above. Let's see what the exact measured move. Actually, the measured move comes in a little bit higher at 108, so even possible we get as high as that, which is around the 764 retrace. So again, seeing some decent potential, especially on the Philip Morris chart for that measured move near-term C wave higher, at least to the 618, even possible closer to the 764 there, before completing this bounce, corrective bounce off the December low as a B wave and turning back down thereafter. So there are some charts out there like Philip Morris that do look like decent long setups here. So let's take a look at Altria MO next, which has a similar setup to Philip Morris, primary degree A wave off of the high back in 2017 that recently bottomed here in January. What looks like an initial A wave of the corrective B wave bounce into the April high, and a 3 wave pullback since, in this case, into the 618 retrace at 47.75 at the recent low as wave B of B, and now ideally turning back up in wave C of B. Now, as I mentioned, the pullback is a much cleaner 3 waves than the Philip Morris chart, but still looks nice and corrective here as well, right into that target support that we were looking for a bottom at, and starting to turn up in also just a micro 3 waves so far, but similar to PM, another 4th and 5th would give us a full 5 up, and overall expecting that we can head up to at least that 618. Measured move comes in a little bit higher at 64.58 here for the overall target region for that wave C of B. So again, similar setup, looking for that measured move higher as wave C of B into that target region around that 618 in the low to mid 60s, and then putting in a top from there and heading back down. So a decent near-term swing trade to attempt to play for that C wave higher. And if you're familiar with our analysis on the cannabis sector, we still see a lot of bullish charts out there. And we know that MO and I believe PM as well has taken some stakes in some of these companies. So it is possible that that is the reason we see that driving move higher here as wave C of B is really participation with the cannabis sector if those charts move higher as well. So let's take a look at some of the other slightly smaller cap names. British American Tobacco here, not quite as convincing as the setup for that ABC, but certainly can fit this chart as well. I do have the alternative if this cannot fill out as the C wave higher, that we get another drop here as this wave 5 of C, and then put in a more significant bottom a little bit later. Taking the red path actually extends the correction both deeper and further out in time if this is just the A wave down rather than wave 3 of C. But, wouldn't be surprised if we do see that red path fill out as wave C of B higher, assuming that Philip Morris and MO do the same.
The only other thing I was thinking of on BTI, Garrett, is that If these are going to follow a path rather than the red alt that you have, is maybe this is part of a leading diagonal for primary wave 1, and the cycle wave 4 bottomed in 2018. Preference would certainly be that it still tries to drop in that intermediate fifth to one more low.
Right.
But
BTI, yes, I could see
Right.
that as a possibility. It did get deep enough. Then up next, Japan Tobacco. The OTC ADR is JAPAF, if you want to look at that chart on your own. I'm going to take a look at the native chart, but this one, although bigger picture may not be longer term bullish, this could be an ABC up, but I'm kind of assuming that I just don't have data previous to 2001, and this is probably a 3, 4, and 5. But this can also be an A wave down completing and getting a B wave bounce, but isolating just this move down from the high back in 2016, I mean, it really looks pretty clear as an ABC, very close to completing on some pretty substantial positive divergence. So seems like it's at the point where we can get a decent sized bounce. Then ITC. I'm also trying to find the native chart here. This one I'm not quite as near-term bullish on. It looks a little bit more toppy and a little bit more corrective in this move up since the December low here, with another corrective move off the October low, and just doesn't quite have the same setup. So I would skip ITC as a play for that potential. Then we have UVV, which looks a lot different overall in the pattern that we have compared to some of those other tobacco charts. Basically a larger diagonal structure, in this case off the 2009 low, but very possible and convincing that the primary fourth wave completed back here in February of 2018. This is 5 up as wave A of the primary fifth, pullback as wave B of the primary fifth, and now 5 waves up, ideally as the wave 1 of this C. So a little bit different as well compared to Philip Morris and MO, because this one looks like it's closer to a pullback, whereas it hasn't really participated in the near-term pullback that we've seen on those other charts. So this one can reach a little bit higher in the wave 1, but then ideally pulls back in a wave 2 before continuing to the upside. And then finally, VGR. Bigger picture here, I do think that we have some further downside, which is the expectation for the other tobacco companies, PM and MO as well. But this chart, near term, similar to those, does look like it can get a bounce, and ideally as a fourth wave within this C wave within the larger flat off the 2001 high. So near term, this can be micro A wave, B wave pullback, and at the very least, measured move C wave back to the 200-day moving average or so. But from a percentage standpoint, the Philip Morris and Altria charts definitely look like a better play. All right, so that covers the